Chapter 7. Trainee UTN. Do you really want to sign up for the trial? Although you can participate in the trial as long as you reach the level of a martial apprentice, it is best not to participate if you don't have the strength of 500 caddies. Otherwise, it's easy to die in the trial. Yu Cheng, the teacher of the 5th Academy, looked at Yi Tian in front of him and tried to dissuade him. A student like Yi Tian, he had seen several of them. They always thought they were lucky enough to get the blood of the fierce beast, but they didn't want to think about it. Even if there were no fierce beasts in that small wild area, some powerful beast descendants were enough to kill most of the martial apprentices. Students who had just become martial apprentices were like ants in front of powerful beast descendants, unless they relied on numbers or powerful weapons. Teacher, I've already formed a group, and I should hope to get a good harvest by relying on the number of people. Yi Tian said this deliberately. Okay, it's your own business anyway, but if you sign up, you need to sign a life and death contract. Once the contract is signed, even if you die in the Ono district, our 5th Academy will not make any compensation. Teacher Yu Cheng reminded him. I know. Yi Tian signed the contract very calmly. 10 days later, come to the number 5 martial arts training ground of the academy before 8 o'clock in the morning, and there will be a teacher to take you there. Teacher Yu Cheng advised. Yes, teacher, Yi Tian replied. Successfully registered, Yi Tian breathed a sigh of relief. In the next 10 days, he didn't want to waste it. Although he was confident in his strength was still weak after all, and he still needed to make some preparations. For example, buying weapons and equipment. In this era, there's no control over weapons. Anyone can carry weapons at any time. Weapons are also divided into several levels. For example, weapons made of general steel are called ordinary weapons, and weapons made of some Yuan force materials are very suitable for the circulation of martial arts Yuan power. Such weapons are called Yuan soldiers. Yi Tian couldn't afford to buy Yuan Bing, and there was no need to buy Yuan Bing. The quality of ordinary Yuan Bing was about the same as that of ordinary weapons, but it had more Yuan force characteristics. After going to the weapon shop, Yi Tian bought a knife made of fine iron, as well as a bow and arrows, and some extra arrows. These weapons cost Yi Tian 5,000 yuan, and this was enough for him to spend a year. Originally, Yi Tian only had 20,000 yuan, but now there were only 15,000 yuan left. But it was necessary to buy these weapons. In the blink of an eye, 10 days passed. Yi Tian didn't mention the trial to his sister, Yi Yu, but just told her that the academy had organized an event, which would take 3 days and he would be back in 3 days. Yi Yu naturally didn't think too much, otherwise, Yi Tian would never be allowed to go to the Ono district for trial. The trial begins. The 5th Academy, the number 5 martial arts training ground. When Yi Tian arrived, he saw nearly 100 students, obviously not all of them. It was estimated that at least 150 students participated in the trial, if not more. It seems that the attraction of fierce beast blood is too strong, and it offers hope for students who are not very talented. Yi Tian secretly thought, Yi Tian, weren't you not coming? Zhang Bao's voice came. Yi Tian looked at Zhang Bao and said lightly, I didn't say I couldn't come. I just didn't want to form a team. Could it be that you found a master to take you? Zhang Bao was shocked. Yi Tian didn't speak and remained silent, but Zhang Bao's eyes were envious, obviously thinking that Yi Tian had found a master, so he was unwilling to team up with them. Yi Tian didn't explain Zhang Bao's thoughts, and the misunderstanding was better. After waiting for about half an hour, the students were basically all there, about 160 students in total. These 160 students were basically second-class talents, and they were generally quite old. There were even students in their 20s. There were very few young apprentices like Yi Tian. After all, young meant low strength. With so many students, many people might not be able to come back, but in this era, if they had no strength, they would die at any time. Take the Silver Moon Martin incident some time ago, many ordinary people were affected. It could truly be said that disaster came from nowhere. Only strength is everything. Let's get in the car when everyone is ready. A teacher shouted at the students. Soon, several buses, similar to those in their previous lives, appeared in front of many students. This was the first time all the students had seen a car. They had only seen this kind of pre-apocalyptic car in textbooks. Teacher, aren't the rules of heaven and earth changing now? Isn't it impossible to use cars from 100 years ago? This is the latest research for the bus, with Yuan Li as the power. It's technology that the high-level leaders of the Linhai base exchanged from a large base. It has just been rolled out. Only martial artists are eligible to buy cars. I believe that soon, you'll be able to see all kinds of cars on the street. A car powered by Yuanli. A group of students suddenly realized. Some of them had also heard of such Yuanli equipment, but they didn't expect the Linhai base to have it too. A group of trainees got on the bus, and the bus drove towards the outside of the base. An hour later, the bus crossed a city gate and headed out into the wilderness. Entering the field, many students were a little panicked. There were many fierce beasts in the wild, and these warriors had no power to resist in the face of fierce beasts. Don't worry. Not long ago, the bigwigs of the Linhai base cleaned up this field, and there will be no fierce beasts within a radius of 3 miles. Our destination is a small field area 1 mile away. The teacher at the head said with a smile. Hearing what the teacher said, the students breathed a sigh of relief. Moreover, there were more than 10 teachers in several cars to protect them, and each teacher was a martial artist, so safety could be guaranteed. It didn't take long for a valley to emerge into view. This valley is our destination. The teacher introduced. There were quite a few buses at the entrance to the valley, which were the cars of other colleges. It's a student of the 5th Academy, haha, this garbage academy also sent people. Don't you want to wipe out the whole army? The students of the 5th Academy have probably never seen blood, right? Where is it like our 1st Academy? The teachers all capture fierce beasts and even weak fierce beasts for us to practice. Our combat effectiveness is not comparable to the students of the 5th Academy. I guess they may cry when they see fierce beast descendants. Although the students of the 5th Academy are not good, the dean of the 5th Academy is a big man in the Linhai base. Let's be less sarcastic. If we offend the dean of the 5th Academy, we will have no good fruit to eat. These taunting students were naturally all students of the 1st Academy. As for the students of the other academies, they weren't much better than the 5th Academy, so they weren't qualified to taunt. Damn, these 1st Academy students are too arrogant. Many of the students of the 5th Academy said angrily. But they only dared to talk about it. They didn't dare to really confront the students of the 1st Academy, and they also knew the gap between themselves and the other party. After getting off the bus, Yi Tian's eyes were burning and staring at the students of the 1st Academy. The talents of the students in the 1st Academy are at least primary. Maybe I'll meet students with medium talents. My copy talent can already be used again. This time, maybe I can copy a good talent. Chapter 8. The students of the 5 major academies had arrived, gathering at the entrance of the valley, waiting for the trial to begin. Yi Tian walked around, seemingly wandering, but in fact, he secretly used his copying talent to check the talents of others, his main target being the students of the 1st Academy. Elementary cultivation talent. Elementary cultivation talent. Elementary cultivation talent. Yi Tian walked around and found that most of the students in the 1st Academy had elementary talents. There weren't many students from the 1st Academy, only about 30. There are only 5 people left. Yi Tian looked at the 5 people and walked over slowly. When Yi Tian was within 3 meters, he used his talents on them one by one and observed them. Good guys, all of them are medium cultivation talents. Yi Tian was surprised. Obviously, these 5 people were the seed students of the 1st Academy, and their cultivation may have reached the peak realm of martial apprentices, only one step away from becoming martial artists. Copying a medium cultivation talent doesn't help my current strength. At most, it makes my medium talent a little better, but this can't help me in the trial. If I can copy a talent that can assist in combat, it will be of great use, Yi Tian thought. It was a pity that after walking around, he only found a few weak or inferior attribute talents, but all of them were in an unawakened state and couldn't be copied at all. Suddenly, a young man with a knife on his back walked up to the 5 medium-sized cultivation talent students of the 1st Academy. Mo Xiaobei, I want to challenge you. The young man held his knife, pointing it at the student, Mo Xiaobei. This boy. Yi Tian looked at the young man with some surprise. This young man was a student of the 2nd Academy, and he dared to challenge the genius with medium cultivation talent from the 1st Academy. He was very bold. I wonder what kind of talent he has? Yi Tian was a little curious. He hadn't checked on the students of the 2nd Academy much, so he didn't think it was necessary. But this young man dared to challenge a genius with medium cultivation talent, and he must have some means. So, Yi Tian walked over. The young man was indifferent to Yi Tian's actions, and only stared at Mo Xiaobei. Li Yanxing, I heard that you are called the #1 sword genius of the Second Academy, but no matter how strong the sword technique is, it can't make up for the gap in strength. I now have the power of 990 caddies, and you are only 200 caddies of strength. You lost last time, do you want to lose again? Mo Xiaobei mocked. HMPH, I'm already 300 pounds now. Li Yanxing hurriedly said, He, is there a difference between 200 caddies and 300 caddies in front of the strength of 990 caddies? Mo Xiaobei said disdainfully. The other 4 medium-level cultivation geniuses also looked at Li Yanxing with contempt. They knew Li Yanxing's situation very well. Even if he cultivated for a lifetime, he would be at most in the early stage of a martial artist, and he wasn't qualified to compare with them at all. How could such waste material be worthy of being valued by them? Li Yanxing was a little unconvinced, and was about to force his move. You are not allowed to do it here, and the violator will lose the qualification for the trial. The voice came from the mouth of a teacher. Li Yanxing looked at the teacher with fear, put away his knife, and didn't dare to provoke anymore. This trial was an opportunity for him, and he didn't want to lose it because of impulse, so he turned and left. This friend, I admire your sword skills very much. Can we make friends? Yi Tian walked over with a sincere look on his face and stretched out his right hand in friendship. You are. Li Yanxing was a little confused, but he still subconsciously shook hands with Yi Tian. My name is Yi Tian, Yi Tian said. After chattering a lot, he turned around and left, leaving only Li Yanxing with a confused face. Yi Tian, who was walking away, was thinking of the scene he had just seen. Human, Li Yanxing. Cultivation talent, inferior. Knife talent, medium. The key sword talent is as innate as the cultivation talent, so it can be copied. Therefore, Yi Tian gave his chance to copy to the talent of sword skills. If he didn't copy, in case Li Yanxing died in this trial, he would not have a chance to copy it. Therefore, he didn't hesitate to copy the medium sword talent. Walking behind a stone, seeing that no one was paying attention to this side, Yi Tian immediately began to fuse the medium sword talent. Boom! Sharp pain came, and his whole body was transformed by a force. 10 minutes later, the pain was gone. With a thought, Yi Tian checked his talent. Human, Yi Tian. Cultivation talent, medium. Speed talent, elementary. Knife talent, medium. Knife technique. Yi Tian picked up his knife and suddenly felt different. In the past, the knife seemed to be dead in his hand, but now it felt like the knife was alive. With a slight wave, an inexplicable feeling came to his heart, and he seemed to know how to cut with this knife to exert the greatest lethality. This is the terrible nature of the medium sword talent. Even if there's no speed talent, with the increase of the medium sword talent, I'm enough to fight with some martial apprentices with the strength of 400 or 500 caddies. But unfortunately, I don't have time to learn real sword skills. Yi Tian felt that if he learned the cheats of the sword technique, he would definitely be able to increase his combat power a lot. However, he was very satisfied with the medium sword talent and felt that this copy was very cost-effective. Wiping his sweat, Yi Tian returned to the crowd. It didn't take long for the trial to begin. For this trial, everyone was very serious, and so was Yi Tian. The first place would receive 3 medium-grade beast blood plus 100,000 yuan. The second place would receive 1 intermediate beast blood plus 100,000 yuan. And the third place would receive 3 low-level beast blood plus 50,000 yuan. The reward for the 4th to 10th places was 1 low-level beast blood. The ranking was based on points. Each beast only needed to have a designated part cut off to bring back in exchange for points. The trial time was 3 days, and these 3 days required staying in the small field area. For a group of martial apprentices, this trial was undoubtedly a challenge. All the martial apprentices enter the trial field in turn. A teacher said. Boom! The students of the first academy were the first to enter the valley and gradually disappeared into the trial area, followed by the students of the second academy, then the students of the third academy, and finally the students of the fifth academy. I can't see anyone anymore. Yi Tian entered the trial wilderness area, and through the trees and the uneven terrain, he soon couldn't see the other students. Although the trial field area was only a small, carved-out area, it was still very huge, not smaller than the coastal base. And Yi Tian soon encountered his first beast.